Oh, my bad.
We're going to take a look at Jimmy Dore discussing the Elon Musk situation with the visas and kind of the fracturing of MAGA that seems to be happening right now.
Fantastic. All right. Do I need to scroll
Come
through?
see us on tour in Los Angeles, Honolulu, Dallas, Texas.
I don't care about your ad.
The first
Link for
20
tickets.
seconds
And
is like
legal.
ads.
What I didn't show you is it got community noted. Huh? What?
Oh, this.
So he goes, maybe this is helpful clarification. I'm referring to bringing in via legal immigrants to the top 0.1% of engineering talent. Now, I've already told you this. In 1 year alone at Tesla, just Tesla, not his SpaceX, not Twitter, just one company, he brought in 720 H1B visa
Jesus.
workers
Is this
in
true?
tech. Really?
Oh, we got a Cybertruck out of it. That
Yeah.
great truck. that
I
looks like
did
shit.
hear how in Texas, I don't remember the exact number. I think it was like less than 10, but he let go less than 10 Americans so he could bring in about 20 visa people.
So, you know what? Before I say anything, I'm gonna let. I want to hear Jimmy's opinion because I see he's talking. He I guess Elon references Joker and Wimby somehow, but I want to see how he spins that. That's interesting.
So Alexander Augustine says Elon Musk backtracking lie about the 0.1% caught a community note. Hey, F you, freak. So when he got called out by
What's
MAGA
that?
for wanting to import labor to take American jobs that we have people here to do, listen to Eric Weinstein, a PhD in STEM. He'll tell you we have that. He then started to go, no, it's just 0.1%. I found out like that he hired over 720 workers at just Tesla in 1 year alone, 2023. That's just 1 year.
Well, it's a team of 7 million or so, right? So,
And
I
check
don't
this
give a
out.
damn.
And left to their own devices, they'll hire $9 an hour engineers. That's what Boeing did.
All right, you know
and
what?
They had 2 crashes.
All right, so pause. Here's my opinion on this. So I've always considered that H1B visa to be, what was it? You've seen that Michio Kaku like interview or whatever he was doing, like a TED talk where he's like, this is like America's like secret weapon because it's supposed to be the genius visa or whatever, right? That's the way I always took it. I've never looked into it. I always assumed it was the genius visa, but apparently, if this is true, a lot of those visas or a good portion of them just go to people for like minimal labor jobs, like low labor job, like janitors and stuff. Why? How is that a genius visa? It really does damage the argument that they're trying to bring in quote unquote geniuses and more that they're trying to bring in cheap labor. And to me, based on these numbers, that kind of seems like what they're trying to do. Am I wrong? Like, what am I missing here?
From the videos and articles that I've seen, it is almost like a white collar version of like, oh, we have, you know, Mexicans and Hondurans and whoever else picking cherries and picking strawberries for pennies on the dollar rather than American doing it. The visa version of this seems to be the white collar version of it. So like we have these engineers, we have these IT people, we have this tech support, but instead of them making, you know, let's say close to 6 figures, they make 30,000.
Yeah,
30,000 instead. So I mean, it's the same thing as the blue collar stuff. It's just dressed up.
I personally don't agree with that. I don't think that's because that's going to work for America. I don't think that's good. Well, I don't know. What's your opinion on that? You think this is okay, or like if that's actually what they're doing, which it seems like they are doing, that needs to stop. Like that. I personally think we have enough labor and enough talented individuals in America to fill these jobs, especially even to fill these, in my opinion, to fill these quote unquote genius visa roles. We have Harvard, we have Yale, we have Princeton. I know for a fact there are people who just graduated from these schools who cannot find jobs. And you mean to tell me that somehow that all the geniuses just happen to be in India? Like, come on, man. Like, I mean, I know Americans get like a bad rap, especially when it comes to like our education and this, that, and other, but like, I don't know people who are going to India to go to college. Do you know any? I don't. I know a lot of Indians and a lot of people from like Southeast Asia and other parts of the world who are coming to our institutions. It's not the other way around. But then when it comes to hiring these same people, they're Americans, they turn around and they hire people from India or from Southeast Asia or China. Like, to me, that, come on. that's a bit of a scam. Like, come on, like, no, you don't want to pay the American. You want cheap labor. Like, am I wrong in my assessment? Like, what am I missing there? Because that just doesn't make any sense.
Not just the pay, is also the control. Like, imagine you're in this country only to work for this particular person, for this particular company, I should say. So
I see
the amount of control there is way higher than an American. Because an American be like, okay, I'm going to complain to HR about this. I'm going to complain about HR to this. I'm going to talk to my manager about that. But if you're almost, it's not slavery, but it's almost like indentured servitude. Like, oh, you want to stay in America under this visa? Just shut up, take your pay, take whatever work conditions. And if you want to stay in America and not go back to, wherever else, whether it's a first world country or a third world country, then you just, shut up and do your job.
Right. Honestly, I think you described it perfectly. If that's what's happening, it's indentured servitude. That's literally what it is. Like that's crazy to me. So I'm gonna let Jimmy finish going off here. But like, do you support this? Like, what's your opinion on this? Because I always assumed H1B visa was a good thing. However, you do know that like MAGA, their whole thing is like anti-immigration and whatnot. And this is like, I guess the reason they're battling Elon over this, because it seems like Elon and Vivek and a few other people in the Trump administration, quote unquote, are going for cheap labor. And it is looking like there's a bit of a rug pull when it comes to like Elon and stuff and Trump, because like far right MAGA, their whole thing has been anti-immigration. And now here's Elon, this billionaire, saying, advocating for more immigration. Do you see the issue here? So it kind of comes off like there's a rug pull going on here with like Elon and Vivek and even Trump so much. So even if that didn't happen, I used to support H1B, but if this is actually what they're doing, if this needs to stop, in my opinion. There are way too many college kids right now. Even when we were graduating, this, like, who can't get jobs. And we have these prestigious institutions that these people should be filling these roles. You cannot tell me there aren't enough talented Americans to fill these roles at Google, to fill these roles at Facebook. They are. Why are they all Southeast Asian? It's a scam. Like, to me that just says scam. That scam, cheap labor, like
Nigerians too.
Nigerians as well. Yeah.
I think they lean, at least from what I've seen, so they lean more medical than tech.
Yeah.
But I know they come in with a lot of visas, and Nigeria's very focused on like higher education too.
That's true.
But if it was what I'm gonna feel like this is America in general. If America was what it said it was, then it would be great. Like if this was a genius visa.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
The new Tesla, the new Edison, or whoever else is in this so and so country. Let's get them over here, or get her over here, so we can reap the rewards from it. Let's support them, and maybe they'll make $1 billion company or $1 billion industry. Then yeah, that makes sense. But if it's just like we said before, just like this weird white collar and indentured servitude, then yeah, that can screw up.
You know what it is, unfortunately. Like that's what the H1B I think was initially supposed to be. And I kind of hope that is partially what it remains being or whatever, but it's greed. Like this is just straight up greed. Because did Elon come on a H1B? I don't think so, but this is just greed. That's what this comes down to. People have gotten too rich, too wealthy, and this is just straight up greed. That's all this has to do with, and they're trying to justify it. Well, Elon is trying to justify it, and Vivek, what does Vivek even do? What is he? Is he a senator? What does he do? I don't know.
He's a billionaire from a
Vivek
scam.
Is a billionaire?
Yeah, he's a billionaire from a scam.
I did not know Vivek was a billionaire. Who he scamming? Did he call? Okay, wait a minute.
I believe it was a pump and dump like stock or something for a medicine that didn't work.
I thought he was like a senator or something.
No.
Wait, so who the hell?
The problem. That's the problem. One of the problems I had, one of the many problems I had with Trump's campaign is that it's supposed to be like bringing power back to the people, to the poor, to the common man. But Trump's a billionaire, Musk is a billionaire, Vivek is a billionaire, RFK is a Kennedy. Like, where's the regular guy? Like, where's the regular person? Like, the closest to that is Vance, who grew up poor, but he's a
Yeah.
Yale guy. So I mean, he's got a, he's fine now. But like, if Vance is your only example of a regular guy, then there's a problem with that.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how I missed that. So when he was running for president, was he not a senator or something, or like didn't he run for president? Am I just missing something here? I did not
He
know.
ran for president.
What was he? Was he just a billionaire? He was just running like Trump. He was just like, I'm running.
Yeah, he's just a tech guy.
I swear I never knew that. I don't follow Vivek. I had no idea. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So this is a scam, bro. So Vivek and Elon, this is a rug pull. They're scamming. They're scamming. The H1B should be good. It should be used as a genius visa, but that's not what they've been using it for. And then these 2 billionaires out here scam. This is look, just call it duck a duck. This is a scam, bro. This is a scam.
Yeah, they found a loophole and they're taking advantage of it.
Jesus Christ. All right. What Jimmy saying?
Wow.
So this guy did a long thread, and he said, I downloaded 5 years of H1B data from the U.S. Department of Labor website, 4 million records, and I spent the day crunching the data. I went into this with an open mind, but to be honest, I'm now extremely skeptical of how this program works.
I'd rather hire a $9 Indian to crunch that data, sir. Thank
Yeah.
you. Fine.
You see?
Nowadays, an AI can do that. Gemini can probably do that.
To start with, this program is massively popular with employers. The program has a statutory limit of 85,000 visas per year. So, but in the law, it says you can only bring in 85,000 H1B visas a year, but employers routinely receive approval for more than 800,000
That's crazy.
applications.
That should tell you all you need to know.
868,000, or 10 times the limit.
This is
in
cheap labor.
2024 alone.
Holy shit.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Like every
Oh
time
my
we
God.
apply to a job, or it feels like every time I apply to a job, it asks like, "Do you need sponsorship?" Like,
Oh
can
yeah,
you
that's
get
right.
this
That,
job?
on every application, that is there. Like I'll be like, no, who's this for? Is it for them? Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
So that what I don't need to read the rest of that thread if I was Jimmy Dore. That alone, if those numbers pan out, the 85,000 is because that's supposed to be for the 85,000 geniuses. 800,000, that's a workforce. That's a workforce. That's crazy, man.
Contrary to what I expected, the average salary for the H1B is relatively low.
Oh my God.
So they're lower paid. Exactly. Slightly under 120K a year. Given this much of the H1B debate pertains to tech workers, assume the average incorrectly because they're bringing them in to do everything.
Yeah.
Assume the average would be higher, but this is the beauty of data, right? You can see that salaries are disproportionately weighted towards the lower end. So they're bringing in lower paid, not the 0.1% brilliant genius Einsteins.
Yeah.
They're not bringing in Steve Jobs.
Hotel cooks,
They're
mostly.
They're bringing in 7-Eleven cashiers. I've seen that.
On an H1B.
They're taking the jobs from Mexican cooks. That's unbelievable.
In other words, 75% of the jobs
calm
are
down.
paying less than 150K. Only 25% are 150K plus, and those only 2.5 are 250 plus. So if this is not what
Wait.
Elon is, only 2.5 are
2.5.
250.
See, that's the salary range I would think was for an H1B because these are supposed to be geniuses or whatever. 2.5? Like, that's crazy. Bro,
50
they
plus.
work in regular hours. These are regular salaries like in tech, bro. Like, what?
So if this is not what Elon is saying and Vivek is saying, I roughly categorize job descriptions into computer, software, tech-related roles, and everything else in gray. So the blue is that, and everything else is gray. Almost all the prominent job categories are tech-related. The two top categories for software developer roles are 1.1 million over 5 years by themselves. So there's 1.1 million software developer roles by themselves. Really?
This is old news, Jimmy. Like 10 years ago when I was looking stuff up about this, they were telling all how it's like NAFTA. They were explaining how it was just, and they were having interviews with
NAFTA.
people
Wow.
that were technicians.
I've heard that name in a
their
long time.
replacements, like the Disney thing. I hate Disney, but it was screwed up. Guy thought he was getting a bonus, had to train his replacement that they shipped in.
And they have to train their replacement.
and it's only gotten worse. So it's been a lie for like
long
over
time.
a decade.
Basically, every role with 30,000 plus H1B applications is for STEM field, with the exception of accountants and auditors, most of them IT related at that. There's a little more variety in roles of smaller numbers, but overall the tilt towards STEM remains throughout. Let's review the applications
also
by
wonder-
employer again.
About their benefits, like, do they get a 401k? Are they getting health insurance? Do they get the same amount of PTO?
That is actually a great question. I didn't even consider that, because if they do, honestly, that makes this worse. That makes this so much worse, bro. So what's the argument for this outside of lying what Elon is doing or Vivek are doing, because they're lying. This is just a blatant lie. What's the argument for this? Because the numbers, the tail of the tape. Look at the numbers. This is what he's doing right now. The numbers are proving it. Like, if this is true, which I have to believe that it is, how can this go on? Like, even if you're like pro immigration, even if you're anti-immigration, like what do you? I don't know where do you stand on the whole immigration issue anyway. But especially in when it pertains to this H1B, are you thinking like this all needs to stop? Because I know some like hard right MAGA, they don't want anybody. They don't want anyone. I think that we need to have actual geniuses come into the country, because I think that's beneficial. But this is not that. Like, this needs to stop.
I'm very for legal immigration. This shouldn't be almost 1 million people a year. Like, it should be, something like 50,000, 100K a year, if that.
Yeah.
So and I would also look at the pay, the benefits, because obviously every company, if they can get 2 workers for the price of 1, or they can get pay them 20% less and not worry about 401k, and don't have to, and can easily fire them at any time.
That's
and of course,
horrible.
an employer is going to lean that way. Almost like I'm not sure if you ever worked contract versus being
I
like
have,
a
yeah.
full on like W-2 worker. Like, this is what this feels like. They're bringing in a contractor, maybe even less than what a contractor experiences compared to bringing on a full time worker.
How long? Like, what's the duration of these H1B visas? Like, is it a year? I have no. Like, how long can they stay on that visa? Do they have to renew it each year, every 6 months, or something? How does that even work? I have no idea. So are they just here
I'm not
forever? Sure. Like, unless they get fired or something? Is it like? Is their employer in control of it? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I think it's the length of their employment, but I don't know if there's a set date. They like have to renew it every 12 months or something like that.
And with teal, the color teal, representing IT roles, and gray being everything else. There's some huge numbers there. 15 companies alone received approval for 20,000 workers each.
I'm sorry. I find this incredible. Wait, 15 companies got 20,000 plus applications approved? How many people is that? Like, that's insane, bro. That's actually insane. Come on, man.
Workers each. Looking at the applications by employer, NAICS code 5415, computer systems design, absolutely dwarfs everything else. 1.2 million applications over 5 years.
Wait, I actually do know that code.
The next 2 largest are 6,113, that's at universities, and 5,416 for consulting. As the consultants like to say, let's double click this. As it turns out, these are all Indian companies.
Right.
That import H1B tech workers en masse.
Oh my
and
God.
Then he lists all the companies.
I know
there aren't American companies
those first
that
two,
needed
matter
international talent to fill critical roles. They're foreign companies that appear to have been founded to place overseas tech workers into U.S. companies as contractors.
Insourcing.
I know those first 2 companies. Wow.
What jobs are these companies seeking visas for? A metric F ton of IT and software roles. Over the past 5 years, 80,000 computer system analysts. Cognizant is the big player here. That's a company. 50,000 system engineers, architects, programmers. Looks like, so there you go.
This has been going on for a long time.
This chart here shows each company's average salary for each role. I've added a shaded gray band between 80 and 120,000 to highlight where the preponderance of salaries fell. He says, now I've spent my career in M&A and corporate finance, and I've been involved in a lot of budget and hiring decisions. Unless we've overpaid every developer and IT person at every company I've ever worked for, 80,000 to 100,000 for roles like this is not the market.
This is,
so he's saying
below.
that the H1B visa people are.
Bro, we've had these conversations. We've like privately, like me, you, and Husa. That's way below. That's what that
are way on. He goes, unless everywhere I've ever worked, we've overpaid people. They're being paid under the market. The H1B people.
Got
oh my God.
The H-1B program isn't just Indian companies requesting visa for IT workers, though. The list of companies seeking visas for accountants is a who's who of Big Four and the other prominent accounting firms. EY is crushing the competition with 16,000 applications. EY also has the largest share of employees seeking visas for finance-related jobs, followed by investment banks Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, and Citibank.
So all the scammers,
yeah,
like this is,
they all
you
together.
want to come up with a list of like the worst companies, like and this plus billionaires like Musk and Vivek pushing for it.
Yeah,
it's all red flags to me.
You don't even have to be like a good investigator. You can just read those names and be like, yep, they scamming. Like,
so wait a second, you got Hannibal Lecter, Freddy Krueger, and Jason. Like, oh, okay.
And y'all say y'all didn't do anything? Yeah, okay, buddy. Okay. Lock these guys up, man. What the hell?
For each EY sought
the
visas.
glove does fit.
I don't have to get into this. Google, not surprisingly, had 45,000 applications for software developers alone,
and they were all hired. I can assure you that.
This is why so many people can't get jobs, especially in tech. This is why, bro. I always remember, again, we've had these conversations. You just think, oh, it's a very competitive market. This is why. This is the direct results of it, bro. Exact issue right here, man. Nah.
Google.
And then I think Elon Musk will get into it later with when we saw that like Luca and Joker stuff. And I've seen some of Elon Musk tweets about this too, but they're framing it like it's an American problem, like we're the issue.
I'm
gonna go back to like the blue collar worker thing because they make it like these working at Ford or working at GM back in the day, which my dad did. You're making a good salary.
Yeah,
you you have like 2-3 cars. You can get a new car every 4 years. So, that type of almost like Homer Simpson or the Simpsons. Regular,
yeah, bro,
American dream type life like that. But that was like the case in the 80s and 90s, and I mean a little bit in the 2000s, and that's kind of gone away as far as like the.
I think it's almost
worker.
Entirely gone away, to be honest. Well, not entirely, but like it's pretty close.
I think that was the original source
close.
of the MAGA anger was that old dream dying, and also like it was Democrats and Republicans, but like Democrats like pushing NAFTA. And stuff like that is why another reason why Hillary lost, and Sanders would have been a stronger opponent. But like, I think like all of this stuff is kind of just linked together.
Yeah,
it all comes down to greed. It all comes down to the middle class dying, and the billionaires being greedy, and then taking advantage of loopholes. You
know what it is like? Because I did see Elon tweeting about like and Vivek. Like backing him up, saying like basically attacking American workers and American students, basically gaslighting. He was just calling them stupid, saying they're not educated. And that's what he was saying, right? It's gaslighting. It's gaslighting. Look at the numbers. These numbers here say that you're lying. This is why, again, so many other people, not even just in tech, have such a hard time, especially out of college, finding employment because of nonsense like this. And this is also a direct result. This is destroying the middle class. This is destroying those blue collar workers. Like this is a joke. Like this is this is bad. Like this is bad. I don't know how anyone in their right mind, if they're left, right, or center, can look at this and be like, you know what? We didn't get a rug pulled, or this is good for America somehow. This is good for my family, for my future generation. This is bullshit. Like this is bullshit. Like this needs to stop. I don't know how they're gonna stop it, but like something needs to be done with this.
They can't make the sandwich in the picture.
You can see where I'm going with this. A casual perusal of the data shows that this isn't a program for the top 0.1% of
Sure
talent,
isn't.
as it's been described. This is simply a way to recruit hundreds of thousands of relatively lower wage IT and financial service professionals. That's what this is. America needs to be a destination for the world's most elite talent, but the H1B program isn't the way to do that. I'm going to stop posting for now, but let me know if so. Just to go back to where he got the community note.
He got noted? Community noted? Oh, that was Elon.
The community note says the United States provides O1 visas for individuals with extraordinary ability or achievement, or the 0.1% of engineers that he's talking about. So
Yeah.
there's a different visa for those people.
Yeah.
It's called the O1.
I don't know if you know this. IT
Wait,
is
what?
exactly cutting edge tech.
That's
they
right.
call that at DeVry.
So he's talking about coders.
That's blue collar work in the world of tech. 100%. In fact, it's probably one. It's like the job where you could like make a living still as a blue collar as being IT. Well, I guess not for long.
So the H1B visas are intended for temporary hires
Yeah.
in specialty fields. But what he's talking about when he says the 0.1%, that's the 01 visa.
So we send them home after they work on top secret shit. We send them back to their country.
Right?
You think that's how that works?
That's not how that works. So he's making it up that the H1B visa program is for the 0.1%. There's already a different visa program for that. So he's bullshitting, lying. Of course he is. And he looks at the MAGA people who got Trump elected as peasants and go F yourself in your face. Because I am the oligarch. I'm the richest man in the world.
Yep.
And I'll do whatever goddamn I feel like.
You know what?
I'm the
Socialist me is about to come out. Socialist me is about to come out because, like, I don't think anyone should ever have as much money as Elon Musk. I think inherently, if you have that much money, you're an evil person. There's no way somebody can accumulate that much wealth and not be a bad guy. You get me? Like, there should be no one ever to hold that much money, and there's people homeless on the streets. There's veterans who are starving. They're bringing in cheap labor. There's people there's college kids going to school, going into debt, and they can't get the same jobs that they're trained to get. And you're hiring somebody from India or Nigeria or some other country just so you can pay them less. You're inherently a bad person. I don't think anyone should have this much money. To me, these literally, as Jimmy Dore said, and we've had these conversations as well. These are oligarchs. Like this is. I used to always hear people talking about, Russian oligarchs. We have them too, guys. Elon Musk is a freaking oligarch. This is a clear example of it. It's them versus us. Like, this is a joke. Yes, I'll raise my hand and say, I like space. You know this. I like SpaceX. I like this. That's just something because I'm interested in it. But when it comes to like the person behind it, I'm not beholden to Elon. This is bullshit. Is he American? He's not even American. Like, I don't even think he's American. Like, look,
He's from South Africa.
Yeah, like, but I don't even think he's a citizen. Is what I'm saying. Like, I don't think this guy's a citizen. I don't think
His brother said they were illegal at one point.
I believe it. I don't think Elon is a citizen. Like, you're getting talked down by an oligarch who came here and basically leached off of us, right? And now he won't hire us. He's telling you because you're too stupid. Meanwhile, he's accumulated billions upon billions of dollars. Come on, man. Like, what are we doing here?
And his tone about it. Like, he's not subtle. He's not smooth at all. I believe one of his tweets was, this isn't an exact quote, but it's pretty much like, I will go to war over this to the likes you've never seen before.
Yeah.
Like this is what you're telling us as Americans. The richest man in the world is telling us as Americans, like, no, these visas have to stay. I will go to war with you. Or just like he said something in December. He said something last month about what was that about? I think it was about extending the government, right? That was when he was saying, I will primary any Republican who does blah blah blah. I will primary any Democrat. Like, you're obviously throwing your weight around and putting your finger on the scale. Like, if this has happened, this isn't anything new as far as a billionaire doing this, but a billionaire being so upfront about it, being so brazen about it, like that is the you're supposed to do this behind closed doors, you idiot.
I think it's actually because it's hubris. It's hubris, and yeah, he's an oligarch and he thinks he controls media now, so he could just say and do whatever he wants. And he's gaslighting people, and the way that he's speaking to Americans, that's ridiculous. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, any like, I guess, goodwill that Elon might have built, even from MAGA, like, this might actually unite the left and the right in some respect, because like, who in their right mind is so dense that they can look at this and be like, yeah, give me some more of that. Like, somehow it's going to improve. Guys, this is a classic. This is a rug pull. This is bullshit. Like, if this is true, I don't know how I personally have gone this long and not known that this is what the H1B was actually being used for. But like, when you think about it, like, of course they're going to do that. What else would they do? Of course, it's greed. It's all greed, man.
Alpha male. Yeah, Kyle's impression makes me laugh. He's such a dork. You take a step back and go, F yourself in your face. Yeah, he's a little dancing, like how they said it's like a Bannon called him. He's like a little dancing. He's not the richest man in the world. He's obviously a front. Neuralink is not a new invention. Tesla was not his
I ain't putting no damn Neuralink in my head. Okay, sorry.
invention. Steve Jobs.
The hell?
I agree, Steve Bannon. Nerds shouldn't be.
And looking at the quality of the Cybertruck, even if there's nothing nefarious about it, like looking at the quality of the Cybertruck, why would you put that in your brain?
I'm telling you right
the
now,
Cybertruck can't even handle snow. It can't even like open up. The lights don't work. The door handle doesn't work in the cold.
Like, even regardless of all that, I remember like being a kid and like video games and movies and all this. Like, oh man, cybernetics and all this. When you're a kid, you're like into that stuff. Hey man, as an adult, I'm like, man, don't put shit in my body. I don't trust none of y'all. Like, you're not coming near me. You're not putting in cables in my head. All this nonsense. Like, no, bro, no, get away from me. It's not Elon.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Steve Jobs.
Even watching something like Ghost in the Shell type stuff.
Yeah,
or Cyberpunk. Like, none of that has ever interested me. Like, I'm not doing any of that.
Insane.
It's like Bill Burr's joke. You need someone to bully the nerds properly. When the nerds are in charge, shit gets real weird. That's why Epstein Islands happen. Because you can get nerds into anything. You can make atomic bombs if you hook nerds in.
So after this,
I think he was reading. I don't know.
Okay.
this guy called him
Pass
out, and he got community noted, Elon Musk, for BSing.
Great.
Elon Musk then responded to that guy.
Oh yeah?
And he said, easily fixed by raising the minimum salary significantly and adding a yearly cost for maintaining an H1B employee.
Wait, that's what Trump did.
So that's what Trump did, and guys like him got it taken away.
Wait, what?
Trump did that 4 years ago when he made it way more expensive to hire an H1B visa worker. And then Apple and Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg and people like Elon got together and overturned Trump's rule.
Okay. And these are some of the worst people in America. Is that true? Is that true? Is that true? I don't know why Jimmy Dore lied, but really? What more proof would you actually need that this is all about greed? These are some of the worst people.
Now Trump's going along with them.
I hadn't heard this news before where he just said, but I mean, it's not surprising at all. And speaking of what you mentioned before, because he said Bezos, it just reminded me of this. Like, Bezos is spending like tens of millions of dollars to like bury some clock underground.
Wait, what?
So it could be like found in the centuries from now or whatever.
Are you serious?
Like, yeah, like that's a way. Like when you said earlier, like pretty much billionaires shouldn't exist. Like that whatever 20 million, 80 million, however much
to bury a clock.
Like that could have that could have been a program to help somebody. It could have sent people to college. That could have helped with healthcare. Like, it's just what they do with their money is silly.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. See, this is the way I see the problem with like the general public, and like when it comes to like capitalism and socialism. Everyone, I still think to this day, Americans at least, they all still believe the American dream. So when they see like billionaires and millionaires, they're like, well, oh, wow, he made it, so I can make it too. But in reality, those billionaires, they just hold on to wealth. They hold on to wealth. They're never going to allow you to get your hands on it. Once you're in that club, they want to keep as less people as possible from getting into that club. That's what they're doing. And so this is why they have cheap labor. Like, but there's so many people who they hear socialism or communism and their brains break. You know what I mean? Their brains just go insane and they're like, oh, I can't have that. I don't want to be a I don't want to be a commie. You know what I mean? But like, meanwhile, you got Elon who got more money than God, apparently, you know, talking crazy to you. Your coal mining job is shit. It doesn't even exist anymore. Like, what are we talking about? Like remove, remember, I've made similar arguments when it comes to like liberals and like I think they have blinders on. Republicans have blinders on when it comes to this stuff a lot. Like, and people on the right, they do not have your best interest in mind. This is not he's lying. He's lying to you.
Yeah,
he's blatantly lying.
I think the center, and to me the center would be more like Hillary or Biden people. I think the center and the right kind of believe in the American dream. I think people to the left, like the progressive or Sanders side, because really it's like the Occupy Wall Street people became, for generally speaking, Occupy Wall Street people became Bernie people, and then post Bernie, we kind of got scattered purposely by the DNC. Like some of us still are out there, doing what we can, and some are just like, screw it, is we're against billionaires, we're not going to win, and so on. But yeah, I think people on that side of things see it for what it is, which is like, we're screwed. Which is also, I think, is the fear of the powers that be and the media has of Luigi, because like this is what happens when you don't give people what they need, and it's nothing to vote for. People take things into their own hands. So I think that this kind of goes back to the whole like terrorism charge and some of the silly stuff going on with Luigi.
Throw the book at him to scare people, to scare the general populace. Like, oh, this is what happens when you attack one of us. You know what I mean? That's what
to
this
let
is.
the peasants know not mess with a noble.
Yeah, basically. I can't help but just shake my head at this because, like, I don't know. I don't. Again, I said this already, but I don't know how anyone can look at this, left, right, or center, and not realize that they're lying. That he's lying to you. He's taking advantage. Like, this is an oligarch, an American oligarch. He's not really American. Like if anything, if he talks about immigration or anti-immigration, he's the leech. He's leeching off of it. You know what I mean? You know they always try to say like, oh, immigrants are leech. He's the leech. He's clearly the leech. Like, come on, man.
And a lot of his money, hundreds of millions, comes from the government. It's like taxpayer money. That's true. Like for the different stuff that he does, like the internet and all of that.
So he's saying he agrees with the Trump rule? Because now I'm very confused.
Now this is called backtracking, Kurt.
Oh. Okay, because I agree with what he's saying right here. I agree with what
he's saying, but now he wasn't saying that at first. At first, he's saying, "Go F yourself in your face."
That's literally what he was saying.
We're gonna do what we want to do, and then
now I'm done.
And then this guy does this
Robert
deep
Sterling.
dive, shows him that he's all full of it. Eric Weinstein calls him out. Vivek runs with his tail between his legs. And so now he says, oh, no. Oh, well, what we could do is fix this. Is we can make the salary minimum way higher and make it materially more expensive to hire from overseas than domestically. I've been very clear that the program is broken and needs major reform. Oh, really? So, but you didn't think to say that until after this guy called you out.
I went and checked because I was upset, and he did say he needs reform, but that's not the reform he said. I was surprised to discover that reform Trump has already done.
Yeah, Trump did this reform already. It got overturned. And if this was
their top point,
if this is what you wanted to do, nobody would have had a problem with it, Elon. Nobody. If you would have came out and said, "Hey, we got to get the 0.1% of talent, and we're going to have to pay them way more than we pay Americans," nobody would have had a problem with that, because then you're not displacing American jobs. But that's not what the H1B visa program's about. That's what the O1 visa program's about.
Where's Vivek? Because he's not saying this. The other Doge brother, the Doge is the thing they're going to be for efficiency, right?
Yeah.
So Vivek should be weighing in too, because Elon censoring people was obnoxious as hell. But the thing Vivek said was like even more of an angering thing, even though, you know what I mean?
What did Vivek say?
Nothing now. If Elon wants to punk out to Trump's old rule, Good for you.
Did Vivek
Elon.
just call people
Hey,
stupid?
you
Is
will
that
be
what?
cool if that's
Is that what he said?
So-
advocate for.
So I think
Dude,
this
I
is
remember
just him
both of them
backtrack-
tweeting basically that the top talent for tech is better, like pretty much from Asia. Like they didn't say so, but pretty much what you said earlier, like Eastern Asians and Indians are the top talent for tech.
And he
Better
doesn't
be.
mean this.
Is Vivek an American citizen? Is he American? I mean, he ran for
Yeah,
president.
I believe
Okay.
he is.
And
Yeah.
this is meant to get the peasants to go away. But if
Well,
if I you're going to see these people on Twitter go, "Oh, Vivek's got a point." That's peasant mind thinking.
It is.
That's peasant mind thinking. And if you
Why do
think
you-
a
yeah.
billionaire has the workers in mind, you're incorrect. You're a chump. You think a billionaire, the richest guy in the world, is looking out for the workers, you're a chump of all chumps.
Yep.
And I'm not saying I wouldn't act the same way if I was the world's richest man. I'm saying that's why you have to have class solidarity, and you can't let Elon is not your hero.
None of these people are.
None of them are.
Look,
And
if
Trump
Elon now
will only
advocates this, good. I don't know him. I don't care about him. I don't have an idol that I worship like a hero. Just get the thing done.
come see us on tour in Los
All right.
Angeles, Honolulu,
I think-
Dallas.
That was a really good video. I'm gonna go follow that guy who put that thread out and just read some of the comments. I'll do that later, but I don't know. Maybe I'll watch some more Jimmy Dore now. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But that video kind of just pissed me off. I just think it was a good video. I again don't understand how anyone, as Jimmy just said, could think that Elon would have their best interests in mind as a worker. Like, yeah, you're a chump. Like, what are you talking about? Like, use a little bit of common sense here. Just don't be so naive. And it actually is a little infuriating because you know there are people out there who are this naive. They're incredibly naive and they just think, hooray, Elon, he's with my buddy Trump. You know what I mean? Like, do not trust these people. Don't trust them. Even if you voted for them, you got to hold them accountable. You hold their feet to the fire. Do not trust them, especially if they're billionaires. Like, be for real. Like, don't be a freaking dope. Like, come on, man. Anyway, you get the last word. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you ever seen "It's a Wonderful Life." Have you ever seen it?
Maybe a long
It's
time
like it's
ago.
an old ass movie.
I
It's like almost
vaguely
80
remember it.
Years old.
Yeah, I vaguely remember it.
Oh, okay. Because it's kind of like a Christmas, New Year's thing.
I've definitely seen it,
my
but,
family
yeah.
does, or I watched it. I watched it last year. I watched it a couple weeks ago too. And the old guy in town, like the rich guy in town, he owns pretty much every business.
Oh, you know what? Yeah.
Besides the one that I forget the main character's name, but it's Bailey something. But yeah, basically it's almost like where Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, like pretty much every like evil tycoon type character feels like it comes from. But yeah, it's surprisingly watching It's a Wonderful Life is almost a little socialist. It's almost because it's very much like let the little guy live. The rich guy doesn't need everything. Let's stand up to the rich guy. Cause he mentioned like us thinking of things along as class solidarity, not just race and not just this and that, but thinking of things from class point of view. Like It's a Wonderful Life, if you look at it from like an anti-billionaire, anti-millionaire, socialist point of view, like it's all right there. Like it felt like the billionaires did billionaires did win the last century. The middle class is shrinking, and I hope that the left and the right, if there is really, I hope there's a populist right. If there is a populist right, I hope someone like myself who's on the populist left, I hope we can work together for the things that we agree with, like this and like the healthcare stuff. For the things that we do agree on, let's work together and see what we can do, because we should think along class lines.
I agree. All right, good deal, man.
I say. Just a minute. Now, hold on, Mr. Potter. Just a minute. Now, you're right when you say my father was no businessman. I know that. Why he ever started this cheap penny-ante building alone, I'll never know. But neither you nor anybody else can say anything against his character, because his whole life was, why, in the 25 years since he and Uncle Billy started this thing, he never once thought of himself. Isn't that right, Uncle Billy? He didn't save enough money to send Harry to school, let alone me. But he did help a few people get out of your slums, Mr. Potter. And what's wrong with that? Probably, here, you're all businessmen here. Doesn't it make them better citizens? Doesn't it make them better customers? You said that what'd you say just a minute ago? They had to wait and save their money before they even thought of a decent home? Wait for what? Until their children grow up and leave them? Until they're so old and broken down that do you know how long it takes a working man to save $5,000? Just remember this, Mr. Potter, that this rabble you're talking about, they do most of the working and paying and living and dying in this community. Well, is it too much to have them work and pay and live and die in a couple of decent rooms and a bath? Anyway, my father didn't think so. People were human beings to him, but to you, a warped, frustrated old man, they're cattle. Well, in my book, he died a much richer man than you'll ever be.
I'm not interested in your book. I'm talking about the building and loan.
I know very well what you're talking about. You're talking about something you can't get your fingers on, and it's galling you. That's what you're talking about, I know. Well, I've said too much. You're the board here. You do what you want with this thing. There's just one thing more, though. This town needs this measly one-horse institution, if only to have some place where people can come without crawling to Potter. Come on.